أفلا يتدبرون القرآن أم على قلوب أقفالها.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والسلام الأتمان الأكملان على خير خلق الله أجمعين، وعلى آله وصحبه ومن صار على سبيله ونهجه واستنى بسنته إلى يوم الدين. أما بعد، السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Today a very powerful ayah was recited, a verse where Allah Jalla wa Ala explains to the creation that if they were to understand this verse and they were to implement this verse, it will give them complete success in this life and the next. Any believer or any disbeliever, if they were to implement the meaning of this verse, then they would find happiness in every aspect of their life. They would find happiness in their marriage. They will find happiness in their parents. They will find happiness in their children, in their business, in their well-being, in everything that they can ever find and imagine. Everything in this life and everything in the hereafter will be a success for them, and they will be victorious in both lives. This is an ayah where Allah Jalla wa Ala, He mentions it's a key to everything and a key to the Quran. Allah Jalla wa Ala says, أَفَلَا يَتَدَبَّرُونَ الْقُرْآنِ. Do not ponder and reflect on the Quran. This, brothers and sisters, is something that all of us have the ability to do, Muslims and non-Muslims. You do not have to be a scholar to reflect on the Quran. You do not have to be a scholar to ponder on the verses that Allah Jalla wa Ala has mentioned to us. All we have to do is look at the meaning of this verse and then reflect upon it. Ask ourselves, how can we change our lives because we know about this verse that Allah Jalla wa Ala has revealed? We're not going to make up the meaning ourselves, no. This is not reflection. Reflection is knowing the meaning. So you look in the books of tafsir, or you look at the translation. Once you understand the meaning, then you ask yourself, how can I change my life by knowing about this verse? And if we look into the book of Allah Jalla wa Ala, so many ayat, verses after verses, where Allah Jalla wa Ala explains to the believers how to have success in this life and the hereafter. All we have to do is reflect, to understand, to ponder, and to reflect, to ask ourselves how our life is going to change because we have now read this verse that Allah Jalla wa Ala has revealed. This Quran is the speech of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The King of Kings, Ad-Dayyan, the Supreme Judge subhanahu wa ta'ala, is the one who revealed this Quran. How can it be that we do not know what Allah Jalla wa Ala has to say to us? This is a book, La Rayba Fi, there is no doubt. Hudan lil Muttaqeen. It's a guidance for al-Muttaqeen, for those who want to save themselves from Jahannam. It is a guidance for those who want to save themselves from Jahannam. All we have to do is reflect on the words that Allah Jalla wa Ala says. Now, to take a few examples of how to implement this ayah, أَفَلَا يَتَدَبَّرُونَ الْقُرْآنِ. Do not reflect on the Quran. We'll take a few ayat that we read today. So from amongst them, Allah Jalla wa Ala says, إِنَّ الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا بِآيَاتِنَا سَوْفَ نُصْلِيهِمْ نَارًا. Indeed, those who disbelieved in our verses, we will send them to the fire. كُلَّمَا نَضِجَتْ جُلُودُهُمْ بَدَّلْنَاهُمْ جُلُودًا غَيْرَهَا لِيَذُوقُوا الْعَذَابِ. Every time their skin was burnt in Jahannam, we will replace their skin with new skin, so that they can taste the punishment once again. إِنَّ اللَّهَ كَانَ عَزِيزًا حَكِيمًا. Allah is the Almighty, the All-Wise subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now if we just stop at this verse in the Quran and try and understand this verse, reflect upon this verse. A person, if he faces punishment in this life, how much punishment can he bear? Punishment until he is killed. And after he is dead, the punishment has ended. Or a person will torture someone, and then he will release him and let him go. And then he will heal, and all of the pain will be forgotten and left. But Jahannam is not like this. Those who disbelieve in the verses of Allah Jalla wa Ala, Allah said He will send them to the fire. They will burn in the fire, and they will burn and they will burn. And every time their skin has burnt, or it has come off, or it has fallen off, Allah Jalla wa Ala will replace it with new skin so they can feel the punishment again. Then this will happen a second time. Allah Jalla wa Ala will replace this again with new skin so He can feel this again. When will this end? For the disbelievers, it will never end. Now this is contemplating and reflecting upon the Quran. For the disbelievers, it will never end. What does it mean it will never end? Would it end tomorrow? No. Would it end next year? After 10 years? After 1,000 years? After a million years? No. For eternity He will be there. His skin will be burning. And after it is burnt and there is no skin left, Allah Jalla wa Ala will replace it and give him new skin just so he can taste the punishment again. These are the meanings of the Quran. Another verse that we recited today, where Allah Jalla wa Ala, He said, Allahu la ilaha illahu. Allah, none has the right to be worshipped except for Him. لَيَجْمَعَنَّكُمْ إِلَى يَوْمِ الْقِيَامَةِ لَا رَيْبَ فِيهِ وَمَنْ أَصْدَقُ مِنَ اللَّهِ حَدِيثًا. Allah will gather all of you together on the day, Yawm al-Qiyamah, on a day that there is no doubt. Allah will gather every single person together on that day. All of us in this room, all of us who are standing on this earth today, all of those who have passed away from the beginning of time, all of those who will continue to live until the hour is blown, and until the hour comes and the trumpet is blown. Every single person, لَيَجْمَعَنَّكُمْ إِلَى يَوْمِ الْقِيَامَةِ لَا رَيْبَ فِيهِ. All of you will be gathered together in front of Allah Jalla wa Ala, and there is no doubt about this. And just to emphasize on this, first Allah says, there is no doubt about this, to tell you that this is going to happen. And no one is going to be able to change this. And to emphasize on this even more, Allah says, وَمَنْ أَصْدَقُ مِنَ اللَّهِ حَدِيثًا. And whose speech is more truthful than the speech of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Don't think that Allah Jalla wa Ala is lying. All of you are going to stand in front of Allah Jalla wa Ala. So a believer now, he reflects on this ayah. If I am definitely going to stand in front of Allah Jalla wa Ala, and there is no doubt about this, and Allah is telling the truth, and He is not lying subhanahu wa ta'ala, then what have I put in front of me for my akhirah? When I stand in front of Allah on that day, when all of us are going to be together in front of Him, what are my answers going to be to all of the questions that Allah Jalla wa Ala asked me? When Allah says, oh slave of mine, oh son, oh so and so, the son of so and so, did you commit this sin and this sin and this sin? Did you look at that which was halal and haram? Did you touch that which was haram? Did you walk to that which was haram? Did you intend that which was haram? Did you want to do that which was haram? Did you perform that which was haram? What is your answer going to be on the day when there is no doubt you are going to be standing in front of Allah Jalla wa Ala? So a believer thinks about this and he questions himself, how am I going to respond? And the best way to respond is to make tawbah to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And if you make tawbah to Allah Jalla wa Ala now, then Allah Jalla wa Ala is a sittir. He is the one who hides the sin. He covers the sin, so no one can see the sin. He is al-afu. So He forgives the sin, and then on that day He will not mention the sin again. A sittir is the one who has covered the sin, so no one can see the sin. Al-afu is the one who has overlooked the sin, so it is as if the person has not sinned. So we can look at the last ayah that we mentioned, that was also recited today. Allah Jalla wa Ala, He said, وَاللَّهُ يُرِيدُ أَن يَتُوبَ عَلَيْكُمْ. Allah Jalla wa Ala, He wants to forgive you. He wants to forgive you. This is something Allah Jalla wa Ala wants to do. But you have to take the first step towards Allah Jalla wa Ala, and then He will forgive you. وَاللَّهُ يُرِيدُ أَن يَتُوبَ عَلَيْكُمْ. It's not just that Allah Jalla wa Ala will forgive you. Because if Allah says, I will forgive you, it's one thing. If He says, I want to forgive you, then this is even greater. It gives us hope. Because now this is something that Allah Jalla wa Ala wants. So if we do it, there's no doubt that He's going to accept it. Because we are responding to Him, so He will give us exactly what He wants, subhanahu wa ta'ala. This, brothers and sisters, is how we reflect on the Quran. So we look at this ayah, أَفَلَا يَتَدَبَّرُونَ الْقُرْآنِ. Do you not reflect and ponder on the Quran? Then we understand why this is the key to happiness and success in this life and the next. Because everything in this kitab will save us in this dunya and save us in the akhirah. Everything in this kitab has the solution to all of our problems. And it can take us out of darkness and bring us into light. We ask Allah Jalla wa Ala that He allows us to reflect upon His words, that He allows us to reflect upon the Quran. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He allows us to benefit from everything that we hear and recite in the Quran. We ask Allah Jalla wa Ala that He allows us to understand everything in the Quran and implement it to the best of our abilities. Wa sallallahu wa sallam ala nabiyyina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.